I mean, I agree. Like we talk about longevity for Beltran. He broke into the big leagues in '98. I don't know if we remember that. In '98, 21-year-old, and he finished his career in 2017. So longevity wise is there. But I agree. I think there's some numbers that you look at and go, okay, that's really good numbers, but there were never elite numbers from him. And that's what I think that's the problem where we're at right now with the Hall of Fame is we're not looking at the elite of the elites right now. Because again, we know at the end of the day, and we said this Alan a second ago, Barry Bonds is not in, Roger Clemens is not in, Sosa's not in, McGuire's not in, like all these guys who during this period of time that he played that in the period of time that Carlos Beltran was playing in, a lot of the key elites are not in the Hall of Fame. Now, again, because of steroids, scandals, and whatnot. And I think that's where we kind of look at it, and I said it as well in the break, and I know you before you hopped on with us, Scott. Could this, and I know I saw this actually being a question on either social media and Google, is Beltran getting in the start of the moral and ethical side of the voting kind of relaxing a little bit? Because and I want to make sure I premise I'm not putting the sign stealing scandal of Beltran in the same category as steroids.
Well, because I don't think you can.
I'm not doing it. I'm not. I'm trying to make sure I'm very, very cautious in comparing the two situations. But they were both rules being broken.
Yes,
and both situations affected the game of baseball in a manner that changed the landscape of what we're doing moving forward. Whereas the stricter steroid testing and the increase in suspensions that followed, after all the Mitchell report and then the Balco stuff that went on too, and then you had the science scandal that changed the game as far as if you can't even do this with certain technology anymore, because we're nothing about technology in society, but you can't utilize technology in this manner anymore. And now at the same time, there's an increased suspension that you have to face if that is. So it's changed the game in a manner that, for good or for bad, we don't. I mean, again, it depends on your perspective of it, but the rule was still broken. Is this a turn of voters looking at it and say, there is ethical and morals that we have to start taking into consideration a little bit lighter when we start doing more voting? Now, again, I think that it goes to the line in my book would be obviously criminal. If there's any criminal stuff that takes place, you're out. You're absolutely out. So, but this is not a criminal thing that took place. The steroid stuff that was going on in the game was not a criminal place, unless certain aspects went deeper that in regard to the FBI and being involved in like the Balco stuff. But if you just broke the rule of the game, we may consider option of voting you in. And that's what I kind of say. Is this the turn? It's just a small turn, but is this the turn that the writers are looking at and saying at some point maybe we need to just say, if you broke a rule, you broke a rule. We'll still put you in.
I think it's a case by case basis, to be honest. Sammy Sosa will never get in. He just will never get in. Did he have a great 4 or 5 year stretch with the Cubs? Yes. Was it because of steroids? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just
we've already also seen to not to try to counteract that, Scott, but we've kind of seen already the Cubs have forgiven him. They've vetted him to the Ring of Honor.
Correct.
Yeah. So at least there's that first step. And I think that's what Jonathan's kind of also talking about with Beltran too, is we've kind of seen that first step with the writers a little bit.
I agree. I think some of these writers, these Hall of Fame voters will just stand on their shield of we haven't elected them in yet because of steroids. We're not electing them in because of steroids. I just think that some of these old-fashioned Hall of Fame voters will stand on their shield and say, we've come this far with it. We can't turn back now. We have to keep going with it. And that's unfortunately the Clemens. Once these voters get out and new voters go in, I think then that will be when it changes. And that's when you'll see Clemens and Bonds and Palmeiro and all them given major consideration for the Hall of Fame. Is it right now? I don't think so. But Barry Bonds, I'm sorry, he was a Hall of Fame player before he started with all this junk with Balco and all this other stuff. So
and you mentioned guys who have to wait.
Right. His numbers wouldn't have been like they are now, but they would have been Hall of Fame worthy, I think, if he hadn't gotten into it.
Yeah. And we mentioned that
you're talking about if he was just the trajectory where he was in Pittsburgh. If that trajectory would have stayed the same, he's a 600 home run hitter.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
You know, he would not be the record holder. No, he wouldn't be the record holder, but he would be a 600 home run hitter and probably in the top 3 or top 4 stolen base record behind Ricky Henderson as well. So you're talking about numbers that would still be historical.
Yes.
So you're correct. The home run side of things would have not been at the astronomical number that he's currently at. But again, I agree. He had a Hall of Fame career in Pittsburgh. He was on a high Hall of Fame trajectory at that rate. But I just think for me, yes, I at this point, I said this about to Alan. I just feel this is fatigue now.
Yeah, it is. I agree. It just is.
We're basically to the point. I think a lot of fans are even to the point now. Just let them in. Just let them in now. Let's just get it done with. Like we've
got guys in there now that have broken the rules
every year. It's every year being talked about. Is this the year Bonds gets in? Is this the year that Clemens gets in? But we all know the answer is no. So we're just getting tired of even asking the question that we know the answer is what the answer is gonna be. So at some point, we just I think fans in general just let them in. Let it be done, so we don't have to worry about this anymore. And then we can actually start focusing on the elite players again, because I'm letting players in who are good players over Bonds and McGuire and Clemens and those guys. Nothing against Harold Baines.
Does Jeff Kent deserve to be in over Barry Bonds? Really? No. Does Jeff Kent deserve to be in over Roger Clemens? No. I mean, that's where we are right now. They're voting for these Jeff Kents and Billy Wagners and all them to get in over Bonds and Clemens, and it's wrong. It's just wrong.
Yeah, and I mean, not to mention a guy of your Scott, not to mention a guy of your Scott now has to wait even longer because this was his last year of eligibility. Manny Ramirez.
Yeah, I mean, because he did that drug. Supposedly he drank that stuff, and the best right-handed hitter in baseball for a period of time can't get in because the inclination is he drank that stuff that made him pass a drug test or whatever they said he did. But again, it's and
they even throw one more name out there just for the sheer purpose of the conversation, because you get someone who didn't do anything wrong, who didn't cheat the game, just not voted in because people don't like him and don't like his political views. But Curt Schilling,
yes. One of the best postseason baseball pitchers of all time. And because they don't like his views outside of the game of baseball, he can't get in. So.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is at this point. Hopefully they get this figured out. But from generational problems to now a potential problem coming up here this year.
Before we do that, can we go another direction here with baseball? I know you have it on the thumbnail. Do we have a Dodger problem in baseball right now?
Say it again.
Do we have a Dodger problem in baseball right now?
That's where I was going.
That's where you're going. Okay. Yeah. All right. Go ahead, Alan.
Because essentially, now that Kyle Tucker has signed a 5-year deal with the Dodgers, the divisiveness between fans is now starting to get even further. You've got the Dodger fans, and you've got the head news people, the talking heads as they call them, saying, "Well, the Dodgers aren't ruining baseball. They doing this. Other owners need to pay money. They need to put more money up to get players." And it's just like, and then you've got baseball fans that are just like, this is kind of becoming unfair that the Dodgers just keep getting away with this.
Do I blame the Dodgers fully in this? No. I blame the other owners. Sign the guy. You got the money. Go sign him. If you need him, go sign him. Cubs, I'm sorry. You could have had both Bregman and Kyle Tucker on the same team. Mets, why didn't you sign him? You got all the money in the world and you don't sign him. I mean, so the Dodgers swoop in at the last minute, pay him what they paid him, and Kyle Tucker said, "Okay, I'm signing my name on the dotted line. I'm a Dodger now." I mean, so, but that's the question: did they really need Kyle Tucker? That's where I am. Do they really need him? Because all of a sudden, every big name free agent is going to LA to play with the Dodgers.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, Shohei helped us. That's what I'm going to say. Shohei helped us when he took this deferred money.
To answer the question, and I actually when the Tucker deal came out, and I messaged you guys both about I had something I wanted to kind of talk about in the situation, and I thought more about it, and I kind of I've been torn in the direction I want to go to, because again, as I said, with being a former minor league player, I am always going to be pro player when it comes to CBA talks. I just am. It is at the end of the day what's going to be. To the question, do we have a Dodgers problem? Did the LA Dodgers break Major League Baseball and break free agency? I'm going to say yes and no to that question. And in fact, y'all can indulge me in how I'm going to plan out to answer this question for it. To the answer of yes. They broke it because based off of what they just in regards to Kyle Tucker. Do we want to view Kyle Tucker as to ask you guys first? Do we view Kyle Tucker as a top 3 outfielder in baseball?
No, I don't think so.
And yet he's being paid $60 million a season.
He's being paid like he is. He's being paid like he is.
$60 million. That's where I'll blame the Dodgers in this conversation, is the fact that they're throwing money out there. It's not even the fact that a team can't afford that or whatnot. And what team really wants to pay a player $60 million? An outfielder who is a argumentative top 10 outfielder, but he's not one of. I'm not putting him in front of Ronald Acuna Jr. as an outfielder in the game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not putting him in the conversation of even Juan Soto. I know I've been kind of harsh on Juan Soto for the last few years because numbers wise, he puts up really good numbers, and sometimes it's elite numbers, but it's not consistently elite numbers. Fernando Tatis Jr. is another one who's been who does put up elite numbers as an outfielder for the Padres. Are we saying Kyle Tucker is better than Tatis Jr.?
No.
I don't think so. Is he better than Juan Soto? I don't think so. No. So where do we fit Kyle Tucker into the range to justify that he's being paid $60 million? And then the conversation of it is this now. Now I've heard this on the radio in Atlanta where the Braves media is like, well, there goes Ronald Acuna. We can't afford him. Because if Kyle Tucker's being paid $60 million, what do you pay Ronald Acuna Jr. when he's a free agent in 3 years?
Yeah.
Where do you go with this? Do you pay him $100 million a year? Is that what's going to end up being? Because Ronald Acuna is a significant head and shoulders above Kyle Tucker in regards of one of the top outfielders in the game. So that is where I blame the Dodgers in this situation, because you're just throwing money just to throw money out there. You're not even. It doesn't even make sense of what you've just paid Kyle Tucker.
Yeah.
What you got Freddie Freeman from the Braves a few years ago, that made sense because Freddie Freeman was the number 1 first baseman in the game. Like he was. And you got him on a discount because his agent screwed the Braves.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. You did what you were supposed to do. You got him on a discount, on a cheaper deal, and you got one of the top first basemen in the game of baseball at that point. Then you go get Shohei Ohtani, who did what in a way brilliant business and how they're doing it by paying him $2 million a season with the deferred money later down the road. And every dollar they make over the next 10 years basically sits in escrow, and they just stockpile. That in the 3 years he's been in LA already, they've already have his money that they're going to pay him over the next 10 years after he's done playing. It's done. Like the whole rest of his contract is there. That it's not even going to be coming out of their. It's not even going to be coming out of their payroll because they already have it. It's a brilliant business decision. Okay, fine. But the fact that then you throw in Blake Snell and how they've been able to go get him. That they're just throwing money. I don't think
Yeah.
we're talking about printing money. They're just throwing money out there. And it's to the point where it's not even the fact that you can say teams can afford this. You only have a couple teams in baseball that can afford to do what the Dodgers are doing. They're not doing it. That is what you said, Scott. The Cubs being one of them, the Mets, because Steve Cohen talked about he will do this and he can do this, and he's one of the only owners that would be able to, and he hasn't done it. And then you throw in the Yankees, that just penny pinchers of the New York Yankees, a shell of their former selves and how they spend money. But they're capable of spending money that way. The Red Sox are also capable of spending money this way. You're talking about 4 teams in baseball that have the ability to spend the money the Dodgers are doing. The Padres did it for a period of time because they had 3 guys that were making $300 million on their payroll, and they realized, hey, this is not sustainable. We're going to have to start unloading guys because we just can't afford this. So now, if you look at it, if you're the middle tier teams on the financial side of things on the payroll,
I was going to say we did it too. We did it too with Seager and Simeon too, and we just traded Simeon to the Mets. So.
Correct. So, but if you're the middle tier teams and you're sitting there saying $60 million for Kyle Tucker, there's no way we could have been able to do that. That if you look at Mookie Betts, I won't even throw Ohtani in there. Let's just say Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Kyle Tucker, and Tyler Glasnow. You take their 4 contracts on the average annual salary of what they're making, I think when I saw they're number 14 in Major League Baseball, those 4 alone.
Yeah.
There's no way you can compete. I'm sorry, there's just no way you can compete at this. Now, let me go to the next part of the answer. Did the Dodgers ruin baseball? The answer of this is no. All they did is just completely they utilize a system that has been there, and they're just saying, okay, well, hey, we're going to just do this because who's going to stop us? Who's going to stop? If we just throw money and we understand the business side of things and how it works, we can be able to get that money back in revenue and be able to just say, all right, we'll do this again next year. And it's a brilliant system of what they're doing and how they're handling. They're taking advantage of what the system has become in free agency because everybody's been thinking about the TV deals that are supposed to happen after the new CBA does kick in. But the problem is nobody wants to spend the projected money that they may get except one team, which is the Dodgers. And they know at the end of the day, when the deals kick in when the CBA does get ratified, when the new one does happen at some point, the new TV deals kick in, the TV revenue shoots up like it's going to, and the Dodgers say, all right, we just tripled our payroll even more because we've been spending money, but we also been making money, and now we just have this big TV bonus check coming our way when it's all said and done. All they've done is take advantage of a system that nobody else has really been able to, but nobody else really wanted to because they know those TV deals will kick in as soon as the CBA comes into it. I talked about this with a few of my players today. Salary cap's not going to fix this.
No, not a chance. Not a chance.
It's not going to fix this. And everybody who's clamoring, and it's fans that are clamoring this for a salary cap. But also, there's one group of people who are wanting the salary cap more than anybody else, and that is the owners. But not necessarily because we need to stop the LA Dodgers. We're doing it because it's going to allow us to pocket more money and limit how much we spend in doing so. The people who are going to be the one who's taking advantage and screwed over is the players when it's all said and done.
Yeah,
and that's why it's so funny that fans don't ever understand. Fans don't see that this way because they just say they look at it and say, well, the players are bitching and complaining because they're making millions of dollars. Yes, but you're signing with the billionaires on the deals here. You're signing with the billionaires to help them make the billionaires more rich, which is funny because I think society right now in America hates billionaires. Yeah, but we're going to side with billionaires in sports. So and they had an article came out today that there is a unanimous siding of the owners of wanting a salary cap. Why do you think? Because all it's going to mean is they're going to spend. I can only spend $200 million on my payroll now. Well, if you're the Dodgers and you're spending $400 million in payroll and you're saying, well, hey, I have this player, this player, this player, this player, this player. I have 6, 7 players that are top level players that I can go get because I have the best roster and I can get them on a discount. I save myself $200 million in the process of doing so that just becomes free money for my owners. Great. Yeah. Awesome. Sign me up. Yeah. Yeah. And the people who are going to, and the teams that are going to get hurt by the most of it is the Pirates, the Rays, the Rockies, the A's, the middle tier, the small market teams, because now you're forcing them to have to spend money that they don't have. They're not making that money. They're not making millions and $100 million in revenue at the end of the season. They're not.
Yeah.
Harder for them to do it. Oh, put a better team on the field, and you'll have more people show up. I'm pretty sure that's not true because the Tampa Bay Rays have had moments of winning for a long time in the last 10 to 15 years, and they still can't get 20. They still can't get 15,000 people to show up in that stadium with theirs.
Yeah.
And
2023, they had a 100-win season. That playoff series against Texas, half of the stadium was empty.
So
over half the stadium was empty.
You have a 100-win team, and you can't even get close. You can't even put 60% of your stadium full. So how do they get their revenue up? How do they had winning teams? How do you put the revenue up? Well, you can't because the market in Tampa is not a good baseball market for them.
John, there's only two teams that fill that stadium in Tampa: the Yankees and the Red Sox when they visit. It's the only two teams that will fill that stadium in Tampa because they're all Yankees and Red Sox fans that come to those games. So
the salary cap process comes up, and now you're hurting the small market teams even more, saying, "Well, hey, there's a floor. There's a floor you have to spend, just like there's a ceiling you can't go over."
Yep.
But if you're the Rays, and your revenue income is coming in, and you're making $28 million in revenue, and you're having to spend $100 million in payroll for players.
Yeah.
Where do you balance it out? It doesn't work that way. So, what's the system that's going to work? I don't know. I don't know what the system is going to work for Major League Baseball because you're talking about because it's a regional sport. The people I've talked to, well, why does it work for the NFL? Well, the NFL has national networks that they split and share the revenue evenly. Major League Baseball is a regional sport with their own regional networks. Yes. That's why they make their money the way that they do. So you can't do equal revenue sharing. It doesn't work that way. And the Yankees and Dodgers and Red Sox are not going to want to do equal revenue sharing because all that means is they're just going to lose money for the teams in the markets that just don't care, and they're going to get more money from it. So there's no perfect system in Major League Baseball, unfortunately. I don't know where they go when the CBA talks begin, or they've already begun. But when the CBA expires December 1st, I don't know where they go with this. Because the players will not, and I know this for a fact, unless Tony Clark absolutely just bombs this, which we've seen him do a few times, the players will never agree to a salary cap.
No, they won't. There's no chance. Even if Tony Clark bombs it, they still are not agreeing to a salary cap.
If Tony Clark brings a proposal from the owner saying, "Well, hey, a salary cap. This is a salary cap opportunity, but hey, the rest of this deal may look good," they better fire Tony Clark on the spot.
Yeah. Yep. Like you said, it'll not only does this still benefit the ownership to have a salary cap, but it hurts the players. It hurts the players. It keeps them from getting what they rightfully get paid. So,
well, the players are smart. They know salary cap. We can't go with the salary cap because we can't. B, our contracts will be. No, they can't. There's no way baseball can operate on a salary cap. It won't work. It won't work. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, how do you grandfather in Juan Soto's deal with salary cap? How do you do it?
You can't.
How do you grandfather?
You can't. How the heck can you half that Dodgers team? How can you grandfather them into the salary cap? You can't. You can't. So it's not going to work. And Tony Clark would be just completely drunk every day of the negotiations if he agreed to a salary cap. It would just happen. He's been a player. He knows. Come on, he didn't make as much money as these guys, but he knows.
He knows. But dear Lord, the decisions he's done over the last two CBA fights?
I know. He's been the worst union president in any sport for any organization for years.
How he got voted back in after the last one is just mind-boggling in itself. But like I said, though, I don't know how you fix the system. I can't necessarily blame the Dodgers for utilizing a broken system. All the Dodgers have been doing is exposing the system, how bad this is.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
like I can fault them for just saying I'm just going to throw money at Kyle Tucker for $60 million a year, and if he comes, great. If he doesn't, oh well. And if he does come, I know I'll still make my money back. After 2 years of the deal, I'll have my money back. And now it's just profit. All the Dodgers are doing is taking advantage of a broken system. So is it their fault? Yes. But is it also their fault? No, it's not.
No. Yeah. Yeah.
I got an interesting question with this. How do you think Astros fans feel seeing Kyle Tucker go to the Dodgers?
Their owner, this is what I've heard. Their owner only goes to a threshold. If the GM comes to the owner and says, we have Alex Bregman, we could get him on a 5-year, $180 million deal, the owner will veto it right away. He does not go over a threshold. He goes to the threshold. If it's under it, great. We want the player. But if they go over it, we don't want him. We want nothing to do with him. So I don't feel bad for the Astros owner either, because he will not bend to go over by $1-2 million to get that player. He stays firm with that $120 million. If it goes over that, nope, I ain't signing him. Could be the best player in baseball. I ain't signing him.
I mean, yeah, but I think the problem with how we're doing this now and how we're viewing owners right now, because we just see what the Dodgers do. The Dodgers have a $400 million payroll. It's $417. It's $417 million.
They got a money printer in the back of their offices and just throwing money at these guys.
What was the statistic I saw? Like in the last 3 years of free agency, they spent $2.3 billion.
Yeah.
3 years.
Every big contract that's been doled out has been doled out by the LA Dodgers. 99% of them.
That's why it does frustrate me that, you know, fans. Well, like again, I'll just use me as a Braves fan. I see fans like, why aren't the Braves spending money? Why, you know, the Dodgers are signing everybody? Why can't the Braves just sign the players like the Dodgers are doing? Because the Dodgers are doing something that nobody's doing. 29 other teams are not doing what the Dodgers are doing. Nobody. It's not really. Yes, nobody wants to spend money like the Dodgers are doing, but nobody can do it. They can't. The Braves cannot spend $400 million. They can't do it. I don't even fault that the Astros don't want to. You know, they don't even want to go that high about it, because again, it's ludicrous to think about.
It boggles my mind when I see these numbers on these contracts that the Dodgers throw out. I'm like, how many teams? There's only 2 in Major League Baseball that can do anywhere remotely close to what the Dodgers can do. Yankees, Mets. That's it.
I would honestly, Scott, I'd only say the Yankees, because again, I know the Mets are in New York, but it's not the same. Like again, you're talking about branding though. The Mets brand's not. It's not the same as the Yankees and Dodgers brand. Those are the two, even you know, those are the 2 biggest brands in baseball. In the story, Yankees and Dodgers. So no I know that we put the Mets in the conversation because of Steve Cohen. The Cohens realized you're not able to spend that money in Queens.
Right.
If you want to spend that money, you go be in Bronx. So I think that it's just the branding's not this. The branding's different. I think it's only the Dodgers and Yankees are the only teams that could even remotely spend the money that they're doing right now. But even the Yankees are sitting there going, if the Yankees are sitting back and saying that's too rich for us, you know the Dodgers are absolutely at astronomical heights right now when it comes to spending.
I would go further to say 97 to like 2020 and a little bit beyond was hell for the Dodgers, because remember, you had those Dodgers teams that got to the deep in the postseason, but just couldn't get to the World Series either. So, or eventually losing the World Series to teams like the Red Sox and the Yankees and Astros and whatnot.
I hated the Dodgers before the Red Sox and Dodgers met in the World Series. I hated them beforehand. But what we're saying now is the Dodgers are just like throwing again. Does Kyle Tucker deserve $60 million a year? Not a chance. Not a chance. Does Freddie Freeman deserve $30 or $40 million a year? Yeah, he deserves it more than Kyle Tucker deserves $60 million a year. Absolutely. The Dodgers are going to sign Freeman again, They're going to sign Betts. They're going to sign all these bigger name free agents. Shohei, when he's up, if he wants to continue, they'll sign him. They'll sign Kyle Tucker again. These guys aren't walking out of L.A. Don't get it messed up. They ain't walking out of L.A. Once they're in Dodger blue, they're not. That's it. They're there. The only thing I'm saying, and I saw the comment previous to what he just mentioned, was hell in Dodgers for 16 years. Right now, the Dodgers are throwing money at guys that 90% of the other franchises can't throw money at them. They can't do it. And the Dodgers know it. The Dodgers are like, we'll throw $40 million a year at this guy. Most of these teams won't even come close to get. And the Yankees, Steinbrenner has already said he's not spending the kind of money the Dodgers are spending to get free agents in. He's just not doing it. So, again, the Dodgers are only competing against themselves right now. They're not competing against anybody else for any of these big names. If they want them, they'll get them. The reason that Bregman signed at Chicago is because the Dodgers didn't want him. That's the only reason he signed in Chicago. Or he didn't want to go to L.A. Those two reasons. But, yeah, the Dodgers just –
I was going to say, some of these players still have a grudge against the Dodgers, so
yes,
that's part of the reason why they won't go.
Yes, part of the reason. Exactly. That's why – who was the player that vetoed the trade to the Dodgers? That had it – was it Eduardo Rodriguez? The Dodgers wanted him, and he said no because he didn't want to go to LA. He held a grudge against them. Those are very few and far between as the guys that don't want to go to the Dodgers. But there are some guys out there.
But this is another example. This is kind of thrown out there as well. We've seen before where superstar players go sign with a super. We talk about super teams and whatnot. They'll take discounted rate deals to go join a super team. But these players, and that as kind of what you back to what you said, Scott. These superstar players are not getting discounted deals from the Dodgers; they're getting top dollar. Yeah. So now you're going to go play on the Dodgers and be part of the LA brand, the Dodger brand, and be living in LA, with the second biggest media market in the country. Mm-hmm. And on top of that, you're also getting paid the highest. Like you're going to be the highest paid player of your position in baseball as well. Like you're getting your cake and eating it too.
Yes.
And so that's where everybody, I kind of say it's almost looked like, well, hey, yeah, I hate the Dodgers. What happened to you? Really? Okay. Well, hey, we're going to pay you $45 million. You're going to pay the number one rated player in your position. By the way, you're on a team with Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, and now Tyler Glass, now Yamamoto, Roki Sasaki, Teoscar Hernandez, Will Smith, Max Muncy, and now you can throw in Kyle Tucker.
I love you, LA. I love you with the contract.
Yes, like they're not even saying, "Well, hey, you want to take a discount to come play for this team?" Oh, hey, we're going to pay you you're going to be the highest paid player in your position.
What is that scene from Family Guy? Here is a blank check with my name on it. Write any dollar amount down, and I will pay it.
I mean,
I feel like that's what the Dodgers did with Tucker. Hey, we're $60 million a season. Kyle, here's a blank check. What do you want on it? You write it down. Oh, whatever I want. Whatever you want, Kyle. Okay, so $60 million for the next, 4 years? Is that what his deal is? Something like that? 4 or 5 years?
Yeah.
4 or 5 years, yeah. 4 or 5 years. With the opt-out after, year 2, I think. Opt-out out of year 2, something like that.
I mean, if you're a free agent, and the Dodgers call your agent and say to your agent, we're prepared to offer your client 4 years, $160 million. How can you turn that money down? How can you say no? $40 million a year, that's life-changing money. That's the rest of your life for you and your family. How can you turn that down? The Dodgers
when you're also the 12th, when you're the 12th, and really, I'm sorry, maybe I'm kind of looking at Kyle Tucker a little differently. I mean, it's probably, I feel like I don't see Kyle Tucker being a top 5 outfielder or even a top 8 outfielder or a top 10 outfielder. I think he's number 12 or the top 15.
Yes.
I'm not putting him in a conversation with the elite outfielders in the game of baseball.
No,
I don't. So that's what's so perplexing to me is that he's going to get paid $60 million a season to play to be an outfielder for the Dodgers. And he's the the top 15 outfielder to me. That's what bothers me right now about this whole situation. It's like it just doesn't make sense that that he's being valued that highly? He was
It's
a good
almost-
player in Houston. He was a role, but I think we forget he was a role player in Houston.
Yes,
he had
was.
great moments. He had great moments in Houston, but he was
Oh, don't remind me of that.
But we know about Altuve. We know about Correa. We know about Springers when he was in Houston. We know about Alvarez, Martin Maldonado. Like we know about Bregman. Like you had guys ahead of Tucker, in the pecking order of the best players in Houston. He was probably number 6, maybe 7, in my eyes of it. He goes to Chicago. And he didn't have an elite season still. He had a really good season, but it wasn't elite. That's what's bothering me about this whole thing is that we're seeing a $60 million per year contract to a really good outfielder, but not an elite outfielder. And that's why I think people in Atlanta are absolutely terrified right now about Ronald Acuna when his deal comes up and everything. We got media in Atlanta right now saying trade Acuna now, because you're not going to sign him again. You're not going to re-sign him when his contract gets to the point of being up.
It's almost like this is what it's almost like. The Dodgers were so bored. The GM said to the owner, "Hey, how much money we got? Oh, $60 million a year. Here, Kyle, here's $60 million a year. All right, I'm in. Done. That's what it seems like to me. Is that
did y'all see the report today about the Dodgers? They're like, we can make a trade for Freddie Peralta if we feel like it. That's essentially how I took it. It was like I was like, that's how I took it as, because the actual article was like, Dodgers were considering making an offer for Peralta if it fits a need. Well, you don't need Freddie Peralta when you have 4 elite arms in Glasnow, Yamamoto, Sasaki, who's probably going to get more opportunities to pitch this year. Glasnow, like you throwing in Peralta in there, like where do you need him at? So there's like, oh well, maybe we'll make an offer if we feel like doing it. But that's where they're at right now.
It's almost like free players are on the last year of the deal. You're almost like, oh, he's going to Dodgers. See you later. He's gone. See you. That's what it is when you look at something like a Corey Seager. If he gets to the last year of his deal, you're almost like, he's going to Dodgers. It's just a matter of how much they're going to pay him, how much they're willing to offer him. I mean,
he's already had that Dodger experiment, so
he could go right back again. If the Dodgers feel like he could help them, he'll go right back again. See you later.
And just to address the comments about it, yes, the Dodgers from the 97. I know it was mentioned by you, Scott, but from 97 to 2013, yes, the Dodgers were not a good team. You were selling off players that you probably didn't really need to sell off or anything like that. But you got to go understand your ownership at the time was what your ownership was. You didn't have good ownership. You had awful ownership. And now you bring in an ownership group that is one of the top groups in all of sports, not just baseball, of all of sports. That in this Guggenheim baseball management, where you had Mark Walter, who's a $12 billion valued businessman. You have Magic Johnson, who's now also I think is he a billionaire now too? As Magic is.
I think he is. He owns the Commanders. He's part owner of the Commanders. He's part owner of the Dodgers. He's part owner.
He's a billionaire out there. Then you throw Stan Kasten, who's also a billionaire. Then you got the iconic Billie Jean King and Yana Klaus, who are part of the more minority stakes. You're talking about an ownership group that it is at the elite of elite levels of owners in all of sports in the world. So yes, you can sit here and talk about your time as in 97 to 2013 and what it was and what it was like to be a Dodgers fan. But at the same time, though, your ownership was the difference. And now you have a group that understands this. As I said, they understand the system and they understand how to manipulate the system, not breaking the rules of it. They just know how to take advantage of it, and that's what they've done so far with it. And again, kudos. They figured out how to break the system legally.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, what kind of got lost in that is the minute that Kyle Tucker deal happened, we also had a trade that happened that was kind of like a footnote of that day. Gavin Lux, who got signed by the Reds last year or brought in as part of a trade, I believe either with the Phillies or somebody like that. I can't remember where. But he gets traded off to the Tampa Bay Rays. Talk about the Rays making some moves here as part of a 3-team deal with the Reds and the Angels. Chris Clark also coming over from the Angels to the Rays, and then of course the Angels getting Josh Lowe from the Rays, and then Brock Burke going from the Angels to the Reds as part of that deal. So I'm actually not a downer on this trade. I think this technically could help all 3 teams potentially.
So I got to hop off after this, but I'll just tell you one thing. This is what the Rays do. They trade for guys like this and turn them into really good players that they can swing a trade for a year or 2 down the line and get some prospects in to help them build back up their system again and keep the payroll on the cheap. This is what the Rays do. They've done this for year after year after year, and these guys have panned out. And then, like who heard of Randy Arozarena before he got traded to Seattle? He was good he was traded. He was a prospect. He got to the major leagues. He started to develop his power, and then they could trade him to Seattle and get some prospects back for him. This is what the Rays do. And you know what? It works for them. It works for them. They got a great manager in Kevin Cash. They got all these young guys. They traded Shane Baz beforehand and got a nice haul back for him. Why? Because they developed him and they brought him up. That's why I'm always scared of the Rays in the Red Sox division, because the Rays are one of those Nat teams that win games. And how they do it, nobody ever knows, but they do it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, how bad must the Cardinals feel, because they at one point had both Adolis Garcia and Randy Arozarena on that team.
Yeah, they didn't know how to develop.
Remember, you also had Marcell Ozuna in the big leagues as well, during that time as too. But no, I definitely agree that this is a Tampa Bay Rays type of move, and I think the direction that they're heading right now, I think we're probably a year away from the Tampa Bay Rays being, a contender again. I think we're a year away right now. Because it's just an influx of talent in that organization. Again, it's like clockwork and how they churn out, they turn out prospects to make them big leaguers, kind of what you said, Scott. Turn them into big leaguers, be really good big leaguers for 4 or 5 years, trade them on it before it's time for them to be free agents. They get a haul of prospects back. 2 years of kind of mediocre to average baseball. Year 3, they turn around and they're competitive again, and the cycle continues from there. So they figured out their own way of being able to do it. And I think I don't think 2026. If there's baseball in 2027, that's probably when I see that's going to be the case for the Rays, that they're going to jump up and be a really talented team again, because they've been loading up, not just on the position players, but there's some good arms in that farm in Tampa Bay as well. So, and how do you win this division? That has Garrett Cole, Max Fried, Yesevich, and Barrios in Toronto, with Crochet and Sonny Gray and the stable of arms that had Boston have. Well, you go load up on young, talented pitchers that you hope that they can, and you continue to develop what you've been able to do throughout your time and tenure on the as a coaching staff in Tampa with this regime, and you build out to be what it can be, a very talented young staff that can compete with those 3 big dogs in your division. I think they're going to see a big step forward this year, and they take off in 2027. If there is a season, we'll see the Rays possibly a wild card in 27. I don't think this year. I don't think they're quite there yet, but Gavin Lux coming in and how they're able to take reclamation projects like him, turn them around and be really good, which we forget Gavin Lux was one of the top prospects in the game with the Dodgers too, before the ACL injury that ruined his season not too long ago. And it took some time, a little bit longer than what it takes for other guys to recover. But we see, like, even with Cincinnati, he showed flashes, but it wasn't to what they would hope he was going to be when he was in LA. But he got healthy and he was playing well. So now a healthy Gavin Lux, what does that fully look like in Tampa? I'm intrigued. I think we're going to see an improved Rays team 2027. We're going to see a team that's going to contend for a playoff spot.
Interesting. Scott, I know you got to hop off, but anything you'd like to say, or what shows you got going on here this week?
Go Patriots. That's all I got to say. Go Patriots.
Yeah, just don't give him hope. Don't give
That's
him
right.
hope.
No hope. No hope, Alan. No hope. You tried. No hope. I'll see you guys next week.
All right. Have a good one, Scott.
Bye.
Well, now that he's gone, I could say, well, the last time they played a backup quarterback, they didn't look so good. So in a playoff setting. So and Jarrett Stidham has proven that he can kind of sling it a little bit. So not going to be an easy game for the Patriots on Sunday. Not to give him hope or anything, but we're not allowed to give hope on this show anymore. Other than that, there hasn't really been much about baseball. But obviously, we had the breaking news today. We talked about the Kyle Tucker stuff, the trades that have happened. I mean, we're getting close again. We're getting closer to pitchers and catchers reporting, and the talk. And I'm sure the talk all season is going to be lockout, salary cap, negotiations, all that good stuff. It's going to be the talk of everything, like we have here tonight. So
it is, and it's going to be unfortunate because again, I think even the fans right now understand what's at stake, and I think you're going to see a lot of animosity at games, and I'll say that you may see some attendance numbers drop in a way of protest by fans of just saying this, y'all are that. How do you fix a broken system? Well, fans are kind of tired of this continuing to happen in Major League Baseball. It's happened a couple of times in the NFL over the last 30 years. It's happened a couple of times in the in NBA over the last 30 years. But this is almost a regular occurrence in Major League Baseball where the CBA talks get pushed and pushed and pushed. There's always infighting back and forth, and we're at no different of a situation than we are right now going into 2026 season with the CBA ending on December 1st. The difference is, as I said with you guys before, I don't see how a resolution gets solved. I just don't, and it scares me because again, I'm a baseball fan. I love this game. I have loved this game my entire life, and being blessed to be a minor leaguer. And again, I wasn't necessarily part of these CBA talks as a minor leaguer, but got to hear a lot about how they work. It's very much unjustified how a lot of fans are looking at it as a negative towards the players and not so much of the owners in the situation of what's taking place and how they're trying to play the PR stunt when it comes to utilizing a salary cap. Oh, the salary cap will save baseball. No, it's not. It's not going to save baseball. You're putting pressure on a situation that is not needing the extra pressure from it. And all you're trying to do is play the PR card that the players are the ones who are anti-salary cap because they're greedy. But if you peel back the onion of it, the owners are finding ways. They're going to find a way to make more money while having to spend less money. Well, that's what a salary cap is going to do. So I'm not optimistic at all that we're going to have baseball in 2027. I'm not going to say the whole season we're going to miss out. We're going to lose baseball because at some point there is going to be a coming to Jesus moment for both the owners and players and how they need to resolve the situation. You need to fix the system. You need to fix the system of how you handle these contracts. I'm sorry, do away with the deferred money. Mm-hmm. I think that is a way you can really fix and resolve this. And I get, again, for the players' perspective, the players like deferred money because yes, you're making millions of dollars right now, but when I'm done and retired, I'm making more millions of dollars. And when in a period of time that I do need that extra money, I'm pretty sure Bobby Bonilla has been living a wonderful life for his deferred deal that he had with the Mets. I get that point, but there has to be something that to give to make sure that if you want this salary, if you don't want a salary cap, what are you willing to give up, players? Well, I would say one of them is the deferred money. Do away with it. Will the owners want to do away with it? I don't know. But that's something that you can make and say there's got to be some competitive balance because for the Dodgers to be paying Shohei Ohtani $2 million a season for 10 years, that's where the unbalance I feel like begins at. And I understand, well, everybody else can do deferred money. They can't afford it. They can't afford the historical aspect. it damn near bankrupted the Wilt bonds of the Mets, that Bonilla deal, because they had to understand that they had to allocate. I know it was $1 million, but they had to allocate $1.25 million every July 1st. So now if you have how could a team allocate $68 million to a player like the Dodgers are doing for Ohtani in deferred payments? You can't do it. Only one team can. So you have to figure out in a way to save baseball by fixing this broken system, and the salary cap's not the way to do it. But I don't see that either side are going to compromise. The owners they're going to dig their heels into the sand. They're going to dig their heels into the dirt and say, I have no give. You give one of yours, maybe we'll give another one of ours, but we're not promising it. And that's the problem right now. And that's why I say it. Tony Clark has done a disservice to the Players Union, because for a long time, we've talked about this too, especially Scott will agree, the Players Union was one of the strongest unions, not sports unions, but unions in general in America. And now they're not that anymore. So I hate to be the pessimist here, but enjoy baseball in 2026, because I think we're going to have a lot of games missed in 2027.
Yeah. And they're going to have, if it does come to a strike, they're going to have to figure this out quickly, because they don't want another full season gone to waste because of a strike. Like they had, what was it, 80, 87, 86, 87? What's the strike year where they had no World Series, and that cost them a lot of money for not having baseball that year? They definitely don't want to have another year like that, especially after getting new TV deals this year, too.
Well, even the '94 strike. I mean, that was the decision of the players, but the missed games did almost kill baseball, and baseball has been struggling to get the popularity back ever since the '94 strike. And again, we talk about the steroid era of McGuire and Sosa, the home run chase in '98 saved the game for a small blip, but we've had downhill trajectory of Major League Baseball popularity since. The NFL became the most popular sport during this time frame when Major League Baseball was the favorite. And even at that time, in the '94 strike, you had even Michael Jordan at his peak. So the NBA was coming up the NBA was coming up while Major League Baseball was going down. And then the NFL just completely shot straight up in popularity, and Major League Baseball has been decreasing its popularity. Why? The '94 strike. You took games away, and you took the World Series away. You can't do this. And I think there's always been a sense of urgency with players and owners and CBA talks to make sure that there's no games missed. I just don't think anybody cares that's in this conversation. They're going to find a way to just say, I want what I want, and they want what they want. And we cannot meet in the middle. They're not going to. If the players even budge one bit for a salary cap, it's done. It's over. And you're talking about the game of baseball has changed forever. And I'm sorry, fans, it's not going to be for the good of the game. It will absolutely ruin the future of Major League Baseball, because it's beyond salary cap talks. The system needs to be reassessed. It needs to be readjusted. It needs to be fixed completely. Until you do, we're going to have this problem. A salary cap will not fix it.
It's kind of we mentioned college football earlier. It's kind of the same problem college football's having with the playoff right now, because it's not benefiting really anybody, because you're throwing 5 SEC teams in the playoff and none of them are paying off whatsoever. And now you're having talks that the Big Ten wants to go to 24 teams and the SEC only wants to do 16, and none of these other conferences are being added into this mix as either. And it's just like, it's kind of the same thing that's killing college football right now, is the not being able to come to agreement on fixing the problems in baseball.
Yeah, I'll even go a step further. So like right now, you're talking about as far as college football. How about the NIL side of things? So the NIL side, there is no salary cap for it, but it's a broken system. how do you add a? So now they're trying to figure out, well, how do we cap the money for it and still make sure that we have parity in the game? You can't. You can't. You can't cap what's not what you don't understand how to cap. And Major League Baseball does not understand how to make this work with the system that they have currently. They just don't. A salary cap is a band-aid on a gunshot wound. You have to fix the system. College football is in the same place with the NIL. Fix the system, and then you can talk about other ways to limit how money is being utilized in that variety. Fix the system first. Fix how free agency is being done right now. And then you can say, what other avenues do we go to better the game itself? But until you do that, there's nothing else you need to do. Fix the system, and then we can talk about other aspects from there. But there should never be a talk about a salary cap until you do so.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, Jonathan, great show as always. Love doing this show with you. Obviously, normally we do this on Wednesdays, but work has put me in a bind with that. Might have to be a Tuesday show going forward because it seems like that's the only day they're going to give me off on the night time. So we'll play it by ear, see how it goes. We'll see where we're at with this, but obviously love doing this. You said you're kicking off the season here pretty soon. It's unfortunate
Yes.
with the winter weather we're getting this week.
Which even worse for us is we haven't even gotten so we put an order in for a lot of our gear, and we're still just kind of getting pieces of our team gear. And one of our team gears we ordered and we have not received is our team winter jackets. So that's going to be fun again. But yes, our opening weekend is this week. Our opening series. We have a doubleheader on Friday. We have a doubleheader on Saturday. We play at home this week against Odessa College. Odessa's top 35 team in the country. They're on the top 35, top 30 in the country. So a really good test to start off the season with, which I think, being very biased, I am. Just because I've been able to be around the boys and it was with a lot of these guys, recruiters, to bring them here. This is probably the most talented team Coastal Bend baseball has had in its history, and I'm excited about what we're gonna look like when we still on the field on Friday. We had our last scrimmage today, our last preseason scrimmage with today before Friday. Boys were swinging a hot bat. We had 4 home runs hit. We had 6 doubles hit. We had, I think both teams scored about 8 to 11 runs. They're really truly getting into the information that I'm providing on the hitting side of things and whatnot. So I'm excited about what this team is. I've told them from day one back in August that the objective and the goal for the work that we're going to put in, that I'm going to put in for them, and whether it's in the weight room or on the field, is to make sure that we're a playoff team in May for a conference tournament. This team is capable. This team is very capable. We're very young too right now, but there's a little bit of an attitude with us that we're kind of ready for, I think. So I'm excited about it. I'm very giddy right now, like a kid in the candy store, like a kid on Christmas, waiting for Christmas Eve night to come. Thursday night for us, and then tip on the ball field Friday to compete against another team. So we have live stream going on too for our game. So if anybody share up our live stream, if you follow our Coastal Bend social medias, Twitter and Instagram, the links of the live stream are always posted on there. But I can also share with you, Alan, to kind of share it out there as well. All the other guys on Let's Talk Sports networks to kind of get it out there and be able to see and kick off and watch some college baseball here in January of all times in the year. But again, this is my favorite time of the year when it comes to college sports. I do love my college football. I do love my LSU Tigers, but there's nothing better than opening day and opening weekend and beginning of the college baseball season. And so we get to have that this weekend on Friday.
Yeah, it's here. We're going to be talking some college baseball pretty soon, as well as we get into February and March. So can't wait for that. For us, of course, be on Rec Room later tonight, getting some shorts done. I think we might be doing In the Hoop on Friday. I'm not sure about that. but with all the weather, I'm probably going to be snowed in anyway, so we'll figure that out. Lock it in over the weekend. It's championship weekend. Sunday night post game following the NFC Championship game, which I believe is the final game on of the weekend. Yeah, but do believe Seahawks Rams is going to be the nightcap of the weekend. So post game will immediately follow that, and we'll give our preview for the Super Bowl. So before we go, Jonathan, I'll ask you, who do you like as your Super Bowl matchup, and who you think's winning it all?
Don't care.
He said, "Don't care." That's a good answer. That's a good answer because we can't give Scott hope. Remember?
Yeah, I'll play along with it though. I'll play along with it. I'm going to throw this out there to you, and I said this to the boys the other day. I think it was Monday's practice. We always talk about this script that the NFL has, and sometimes there's this script in all professional sports. So let me lay this out there. The LA Dodgers won the World Series in 2025 season. Clayton Kershaw, future first ballot Hall of Famer, retired after the end of the season as a World Series champion. The LA Rams are one win away from going to the Super Bowl to potentially compete and win a Super Bowl in 2025-2026 season. The quarterback of the LA Rams is Matthew Stafford, who's also a future first ballot Hall of Famer, who is Clayton Kershaw's high school best friend, former high school teammate on the baseball team at Highland Park High School in Dallas, Texas. And they are still very good they're still best friends to this day. And there's rumors about Stafford, if they win the Super Bowl, he could retire at the end of the season if they're doing so, which would make that both of them would win a world championship the same year, retire the same year, and can be in the Hall of Fame the same year. So, with that being said, of the script that's probably been written, I have to say it would be, and I'm rooting for Stafford to do so. I'm going to say, and as much as I hate the LA Rams, I hate all Los Angeles sports teams more every day because of what the Dodgers did to my Braves for many years and what the LA Rams did to my New Orleans Saints in 2019. I digress. But I will say for Stafford, I'm rooting for him. I will say the Rams and Broncos in the Super Bowl. Sean Payton gets his revenge on the Rams. And I think, and that will be torn because I think Sean Payton would absolutely love the opportunity to get revenge for the 2019 no-call NFC Championship game against the Rams. I think he would absolutely lavish that opportunity to do so. So I would be torn for Sean Payton to win another world championship, even though it's not in New Orleans. But I'm also would say I'm rooting for Matt Stafford to win another Super Bowl, to retire, right out into the sunset, retire, and be a future Hall of Famer with Clayton the same year. So I'm torn, but I'll give that be my Super Bowl game. L.A. Rams, Denver Broncos in the Super Bowl.
Interesting. Well, I won't give mine yet because that's going to be for another show. But I mean, at least you're sticking to your guns with that. Honestly, I would actually like to see that matchup now. I kind of want to see that matchup now. So I think either matchup we get with either of these Final Four teams will be a good Super Bowl, to be honest. It's like,
yeah, I'll say I think it will end up being the Patriots because I know you lose Bo Nix. Jarrett Stidham he's a backup quarterback. He's a decent backup. I think that's just going to be a big difference maker, though. I do think the Patriots will end up winning the game, but I'm rooting for Sean Payton to get to the Super Bowl because again, at the same time, too, let's just say if the Broncos do win the Super Bowl, now we get to see Roger Goodell hand Sean Payton another Super Bowl trophy, and I think that's even better right there for it. I think it's going to be even more drama-based for it because we know Roger Goodell and Sean Payton for many years do not like each other after the Bounty Gate scandal that was made up and written up, falsified by Roger Goodell in the NFL. But I think that'd be pretty funny as well. But I would say, I'm rooting for Stafford. I got me being a high school teammate, a high school classmate of theirs as well. I think that'd be be cool to see him win another Super Bowl. So, but yeah, for the sheer enjoyment of the emotional of it, Denver and Rams. But I do think the logical choice would be the Patriots over the Broncos.
Mm-hmm. Now I'll just go ahead and say I actually have wanted to see the other revenge game, the Patriots and the Seahawks. For the rematch of the why are we not running Marshawn Lynch at the 1 yard line instead of throwing an interception to Malcolm Butler game.
Does that mean we get do we get Tom Brady and Marshawn Lynch on the sideline of that Super Bowl?
Well, I mean, Fox isn't calling the game, so I'm sure they'll throw Brady in there somehow. Kind of fitting that he's also part ownership or on the ownership group with the Raiders now too.
If we get that matchup, we got to see Brady and Gronk and Marshawn and Richard Sherman on the sidelines together, all four of them.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about two different kind of groups of guys together. I think that's a great diverse group of four ex-football players right there.
And it's also Drake May, is he the true successor to Tom Brady's story and the Sam Darnold redemption story as well?
I wish Scott was still on right now. If you're Tom Brady, do you want Drake May to win a Super Bowl?
That's funny.
Let's go a different direction. If you're Bill Belichick, do you want the Patriots to win a Super Bowl?
That's
not even Vrabel. I mean, he has a lot of respect for Vrabel, but do you want the Patriots to win a Super Bowl? I don't know. I don't know. So it'll be interesting how it goes.
It'll be interesting. Well, anything else, Jonathan, before we end off tonight, sir?
All good from here.
All righty, guys. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back next week. Until then, love y'all. Stay safe. Be safe if you're getting out this weekend in the cold and whatnot. Buy Spotify.
Keep the cold weather north of the Red River. Keep it up there. We don't want it down here.
Can we just send this all back to Canada, please? And since I'm tired of it, I'm already tired of it. Anyway, guys,
send it to Nick Watkins.
Yeah, we'll send it to you. We'll send it to Nick and Tanner. They can deal with it up there.
There you go. They're used to it.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next week. Love y'all. Stay safe.
Spotify.
Have a great night. Bye, Spotify. Take care.